Hello friends, welcome to my channel Data Making. I'm going to start a new video series which is Docker practical tutorial. Okay, it is going to be a new video series. In this video, we'll discuss about Docker introduction. Let me minimize the recording window. We'll understand what is Docker, what is the Docker image, and also we'll understand what is Docker container and what is the use of Docker Hub, and we'll understand the mainly the difference between the virtual machine and the container, right? So what is Docker? Docker is a containerization technology or platform that enables the creation and use of containers. So all containers run by a single operating system kernel. Due to this, it is lightweight compared to the virtual machines. Generally, virtual machines are actually will tell you. I'll tell you how the virtual machine works when you go further. Basically, you can think a virtual machine is another operating system you build actually compared to your host operating system. Though virtual machine will be a guest operating system, which will have all the components of operating system, right? So it will be very heavy weighted, but containers are light weighted. Okay, so it will make use of the host operating system. Okay, I will tell you in the detail in the further slide. The containers they can communicate each other through well-defined channel. Containers allows developer to package up the application with all its parts it needs, such as libraries and other dependencies, and ship it all out as a single package. So that's a container, right? This service has a free as well as premium tiers. So community edition also there. There's a commercial edition also there. The software that hosts the container is called a Docker engine. This is a Docker engine which actually hosts all these containers. It was first started in 2013 and it is developed by a Docker Incorporation (INC). Okay, now we'll understand what is Docker image. Docker images are templates used to create a Docker containers, right? Meaning it is a Docker image is a file which comprises of multiple layers which will be used to execute code in a container, in Docker container. Okay, so when we'll actually go through the syntax of Docker image in the further videos, and we'll explain you each section of the Docker image, which will be a template file, right? What is Docker container? Docker container is an instance of Docker image. When you prepare an image, so it will be hosted in your Docker engine. So when Docker engine runs your Docker image, the running instance of a Docker image is called a container. A container is a standard unit of software that packages the code and its dependencies so that application runs quickly and reliably from one computing environment to another environment. So basically, most of the software developers as well as the DevOps engineers face the problem of environment mismatch and the runtime mismatch, right? When you run your application on different server or environment, so those can be avoided when you use Docker containers. Okay, so we'll understand more detail when you run our Docker containers with sample examples, sample applications. What is Docker Hub? Docker Hub is the world's largest library community for Docker images. So it will be a repository, or you can say it's a place where all your Docker images or placed, container images are placed, so that people can make use of it. It's free. Okay, browse over 100,000 of Docker containers from software vendors and open source projects on the community. It will be available in the Docker Hub. So basically, if you want to get your if you want to upload your container, your Docker image into the Docker Hub, you need to create an account in Docker Hub. We'll do it in the future videos. Okay, now we'll understand so how this virtual machine and Docker images are getting differed, how it is different, and what is the benefit of Docker containers. So if you see the underlying, okay, you will have infrastructure which will be either laptop or your server, or it can be a cloud machine, right? So generally you will have operating system. If you want actually have a multiple, if you want to develop a application, okay, in different environment, what you do is you use actually virtualization technology, which is hypervisor. So you have a hypervisor type 1 and type 2. Basically, type 1 will actually directly interact to the operating system. The virtual machine will directly will uh, interact with the operating system. Type 2 hypervisor is like something like VMware VirtualBox, which will run your virtual machine as an application, right? So using this virtualization technology, so you can create a OS like this guest OS. They think of this as a Linux Ubuntu operating system. So this can be a Windows and this can be a CentOS or Red Hat, whatever. So you will have a different operating system which will actually contain libraries where you host your application. For example, application 1 hosted in the operating system OS, guest OS 1, and application 2 is OS 2, guest OS 2, and application 3 is guest OS 3. So you see here you have a so you know, right, when operating system uses, it's going to use a huge amount of resources like memory as well as the CPU as well as the disk space. Okay, so memory and CPU is going to be costly. So you are actually to in this example, if you want you to host your three application, you are actually having a three huge set of operating system. So you're actually wasting your the resources here. So instead, actually, you can have you can, if you have a technology which can make use of the operating system and run this three application in isolation level, that will be a great, right? So that's what we are going to do in the Docker containerization technology. Okay, so this is a typical virtual machine architecture. We'll have a infrastructure, then host operating system using hypervisor virtualization technologies. So you will actually have a different operating system. Okay, so each will have its own root permission, other stuff. Okay, so in this architecture, you will isolate the system. But when you comes to the Docker container, same, you are going to have a infrastructure, like it can be a laptop or on-premise service or cloud machine, and you will have a host operating system. And you see there is a, instead of hypervisor, you have something called Docker daemon, which is a Docker engine. Okay, it is going to do the containerization. So basically, it is going to host your application one as a one container. Okay, so application 2 as another container. So both and application 3 as another container. All three containers will have its own set of libraries and binaries, so that you don't need to share the or you don't need to share it with the other. Basically, you don't need will not have any mismatch, application mismatch, or sorry, runtime environment mismatch. So everything is going to be isolated for this application, this environment, and these three are. So you will have actually you will have benefit of make using of the available resources. So you are going to use only the one operating system here. So say consider here you if you compare with this architecture, you see three operating system. So each four operating system. Four operating system is going to consume huge number of resources. See, in this case, will be minimized with the one operating system. So you are going to use this operating system, the extra resources with the in your application, so that your application will be faster. So your Docker container basically it will have it'll Docker daemon, which is a Docker engine, which will actually run your Docker images. Okay, and the running Docker image is called a container. So this is how the so here you isolate application instead of systems. So this is how the container is works compared to the virtual machine. So let's recap the difference between virtual machine and containers. Virtual machines represents hardware virtualization, so that you can actually create a different virtual machines. Okay, you can different virtual machine with a different operating system you can install. Here you containers represent operating system virtualization, so that within one operating system you can actually create multiple containers and host your applications. Because of you have different guest operating systems, it will be heavyweight. Here you share the same operating system, and here it is be lightweight compared to the virtual machine. Virtual machine takes slow provisioning, and this containers can be real-time provisioning and scalability. It provides scalability. It is limited performance. It has native performance. Containers are native performance. It has very good performance because it will be lightweight. So we'll actually just will when you practice the containers, you'll see the performance. Okay, I'll actually demonstrate you with the examples in the future videos. And here fully isolated and hence more secure. Here because of this process level isolation is here and hence less secure because it's going to share the operating system, so less secure compared to the virtual machine. So apart from this, containers are very good because it's going to help you headache of for DevOps because maintaining different environment for different applications is very tough. So I hope this video is helpful to get an introduction of Docker. In the future videos, we'll start with installation of Docker in both Linux operating system as well as Windows, and then we'll start building Docker images and we'll create a containers. Thank you so much, friends. I hope this video is helpful, and please subscribe to my channel Data Making and click on this bell button to get notification whenever new videos. Please watch my other videos. I have 200 videos uh, in my YouTube channel, which contains of different technologies in big data. You can make use of it and share your feedbacks. I am happy to help you. Thank you so much, friends.